whether you're observing an individual which is a woman or man, you of course use this information because every information is valuable. And that's why, of course, also for years we have investigations where we have a dummy. 0, for example, man, 1 woman. And then if we have a coefficient which is significant to this dummy, it means that indeed the gender does matter, let's say, okay? And so dummy at the end is once again has only 2 outcomes. And in our case, in a fixed effect model, we use dummies. In this case, we would say in our model, in our setting, these years are different. And that's why we need now dummies for every particular year. So that's why what you should create now, dummy variable. It's my way to do it. Description D, for me it's okay dummy. Yeah, it's important information for me. And then underscore, because for software like data and so on, it's important that you don't have any other signs. And then 2030. For example, for me, from my perspective, it would be a clear description for, okay, it's a dummy variable, or 0, 1, and 2030. And so on for other years. Yeah? And here you can use, I guess you are familiar with that. You could use, of course, a very simple if function. So if value here is equal to 2013, then please give me 1, otherwise 0. And please repeat it for every year.
So then 14 would be 2, 30.
Still 0 and 1.
It's always 1 or 0.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Dummy only 0 or 1. Okay?
All right.
Yeah? And please do it and use this slide in order in Excel to use this multiple regression. Yeah, using not only tax rate, but selecting tax rate and the whole dummy variables for years. Yeah? So here. Explain our results for a second. I hope you have your results. So still our variable of interest is tax rate. So actually I could say this coefficients for dummy variables are not actually important, and I stick still to my coefficient on tax rate. And this is a stable one. It's a great result, I could say. I have in this case a higher number of observations. I have also a little bit higher R squared, which is also a good result. But you can see that all the variables are not significant. P values are too high. And that's why the interval begins with negative value and ends with a positive one. And I'm sure that some of you had a problem with the P values are not reported for every dummy variable, right? Great. Why that? Because we discussed the question or the way of investigated the differences for gender. Yeah? And if I have 2 gender types, man and woman, how many dummy variables do I need? Really? It's additional information. If I see, okay, men 0, then it should be. So I need 1 dummy variable less than the number of outcomes. So that's why I guess you have also here a dummy variable for 2017, right?
Yeah.
And if you will drop dummy variable for 2017, then you will have your p-values for every particular coefficient. Why that? Because the program knows, so to say, if it's the observation not for 2013, not for 14, 16, then it has to be 2017. And this one, which is omitted here, so it's dropped from the model, is this one is a reference for our interpretation. Okay? So the interpretation would be in comparison to 2017, 2016 was, for example, on average, had a FDI at the level which is higher by 0.7% in comparison to our reference case, which is 2017, which is this omitted variable. Okay? However, should I make this kind of interpretation? No. If we would have a p-value, for example, for 2016 at the level of 0.00, and of course I could say there is some significant difference between our reference case of 2017 and 2016. That's not the case. And because I don't see any significant differences among the years, then it's sensible that my coefficient is stable, because it means if I don't have a significant differences between the years, this shouldn't have any impact on my results for the tax rate, right? So that's why it's sensible, and we should check whether this result is in line with results on a number of observations. For example, for 10,000 observations, if it would be the case, it would mean that it's enough to run regression. Having only 100 and a result would be still pretty nice, yeah, for this kind of exercise. Okay, next. Yeah.
One question just to understand. So the whole column of D 2017 will drop. The
Yeah.
whole column. Okay.
Yeah, and then you will p-values will be reported for every single dynamic variable. This is a homework for you. Please check, or not maybe a homework. It should be helpful if you will run your regression, yeah, your model. You should check, or you will, for example, read a paper, and where you will find some logarithms, for example. Then please be careful. The interpretation is a little bit different in comparison to our simple model having only just y and x. Yeah. That's the first issue, and the other issue is that next time, I don't know, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we will meet in a larger room all together this time, but only for more or less 1 hour. We will have a small presentation done by my PhD student on an example where you will see that we have an observation number of a couple thousand or something like that on trade data as an example for our investigation using data analysis, and then we will go back to our small rooms and start with data. A small introduction. I have to consider to which extent I will provide it, and then you will start your projects. And if you would like, then you could start already now your project. Just consider what kind of data would you need, or what kind of research question would you like to check, to investigate. Please at least 2 variables if you will consider any other research question than that. If you would like to improve it, use it, but you have to improve it, yeah? Or take at least 3 variables, 2 independent variables and 1 y variable. But if you would like, and we know cases like that, you could even consider it toward your master thesis, looking for data which is more sophisticated, or a research question which is more sophisticated. If you up to now understood the whole content, it's great. You should use the chance, yeah, to do it, and not to try to stick to a simple other model and just in order to pass this module. Okay, it would be enough, but try to do a little bit more than that. Thank you very much. Don't forget, in SAM you will find a room for the next meeting. I guess it's B444, a big one. Yeah? Thank you very much.